12-0. MarkRogersTV just minutes after Ohio State completed its sixth undefeated, untied season in school history, defeating arch rival Michigan 26-21. And as the score would indicate, once again, it wasn't easy for the Buckeyes. This first half was dominated by the offenses, and in particular, Denard Robinson, in his last regular season game at Michigan, one of the most prolific offensive players in Big Ten history, ripped the Buckeyes. 6 carries for $124, including a long touchdown run in the first half. Ohio State marred by penalties, personal fouls in the first half, and blown assignments on defense and poor tackling. In fact, it's difficult to believe, with all the talent on this Ohio State defense, a defense that, of course, contributed mightily to a 12-0 team, Ohio State gave up the most yardage after contact of any team in the Big Ten, and they were 119th in the country after contact. Tackling was not a forte of the Ohio State defense, but things changed in the second half. Michigan led at 21-20 at the break. The offenses, again, owned the first half, but the defenses stepped it up in the second half. For Michigan, they continued to hold Ohio State out of the end zone. For the Buckeyes, they forced 4 turnovers. They continually gave the offense opportunities in the red zone, but the Buckeyes' red zone offense was plagued by bad snaps, missed blitz pickups, and just shoddy play and poor execution by the Ohio State offense, as they could not deliver the knockout blow. The Michigan defense under defensive coordinator Greg Madison was so stout in the second half, as the Buckeyes could just muster the 2 field goals to lead at 26-21. So this was a one-play, one-score game all of the second half. Denard Robinson, again, $124 on the ground in the first half, was given the ball just 4 times in the second half. Inexplicably, Michigan got away from Robinson running the football, went to the air. Even with 6, 8, 10 minutes left in the game, down by just 1 score, Denard Robinson found himself on the sideline. And the Buckeyes, for the 4 times that they did face Denard Robinson in the second half, they gave up -2 yards rushing to Denard Robinson. A big factor in this game defensively for the Buckeyes, Zach Bourne, who's really been an unsung hero for this Ohio State defense in the second half of the season. A converted fullback. We're not talking about converting him last year or the year before, converting him mid-season from fullback to linebacker. And this Ohio State defense, despite all the NFL talent with Jonathan Hankins and Bradley Roby and Ryan Shazier, and unfortunately John Simon, a senior, who in his last game could not play after having a 4-sack game against Wisconsin because of injury, could not play against the Michigan Wolverines. It was Zach Bourne in these last few games of the season who really stepped up and played well and shored up the Ohio State defense. The Buckeyes, playing very well on defense, gave up just 68 yards to Michigan's offense in the second half. A big factor in this game, the absence of Fitzgerald Toussaint, Michigan's best running back by far, who's missed the last several games. Toussaint would have probably been a major factor in this game, as Michigan could not convert the 3rd downs and short. Ohio State's defense was stout in the run game. Once they got Robinson out of the game, stout against the other Michigan running backs, and Devin Gardner as well. Gardner played well. We got to remember, this guy has only gotten about 3 games under his belt. He's a junior converted wide receiver, originally a quarterback, then a wide receiver, back to quarterback for Michigan, and he's going to have a pretty good senior season, I would guess. He can throw the football. He makes all the throws, but 11 of 20 and a costly pick for Michigan late in the game, as Ohio State, again, wraps it up 26-21. This effort nationally has been given to Braxton Miller as being the headliner for Ohio State. He did play well today in the pass game, 14 of 18. Didn't run the ball. Michigan played great on defense in containing Braxton Miller for the most part. He had a big run in the 4th quarter, but basically contained Braxton in the pocket. A lot of sacks against the Ohio State offensive line, as well as Braxton Miller tends to hold on to the football and try to make big plays. So Michigan's defense was really good in the second half of this football game. But the big key on offense for Ohio State was Carlos Hyde. This guy is an underrated running back. He has turned from a grinder into a featured back. 26 carries for $146. They gave it to him in the 4th quarter specifically when they really needed the first downs, and Carlos Hyde pulled through when everybody knew he was getting the football. Again, a tough runner with dangerous speed. Very good speed to the outside, surprisingly. Hyde known for running between the tackles, but Carlos Hyde does have a burst to the outside, and a $146 out of Carlos Hyde for Ohio State. So what does it mean for the Buckeyes? Of course, their season is over, 12-0, cannot play in the Big Ten championship game or a bowl game. Who knows what the voters would have done, what the BCS rankings would have done. We understand that the Buckeyes would currently be third if they were eligible for the BCS. In the AP standings, of course, Notre Dame is number one as the only other undefeated team in the nation. If Notre Dame loses to USC, Ohio State has a chance to finish number one in the AP. Different voters have different takes on whether that should be. Of course, Ohio State ineligible. They're on probation, so many voters will not cast that vote for Ohio State. I think that's a bit ridiculous just because if you're going to put them in the poll, they are eligible for the AP championship. Therefore, they should be removed if they're on probation, and the thought is that they should not be eligible for the AP championship. Otherwise, they're there, they're being ranked, they're being voted on. They should win an AP national championship if Notre Dame loses to USC or loses in the BCS national championship game. For Michigan, they finish out at 5-3 in the Big Ten, 8-4. They were very close to having a really big season, coming off that 11-2 Sugar Bowl win last year. For Michigan, with Nebraska probably going to the Rose Bowl, but if Wisconsin wins that, then of course you've got Nebraska sliding down in the bowl rankings, which means that Michigan at, again, 5-3, tied with Northwestern in that Legends division, would probably get an Outback Bowl against an LSU or Florida, possibly Georgia, if they slip up in the SEC championship game. Ohio State, Michigan, would love to hear what you have to say about Ohio State's chances of winning an AP national championship, or Michigan going forward with Devin Gardner at quarterback. He's going to have 6 or 7 weeks to get himself ready for bowl play, most likely against an SEC team. Let's hear about it. Ohio State, Michigan on Mark Rogers TV.